what happens if you join in a yoga class and you go to move into down dog position and all of a sudden you feel like, oh, I just had air escape from my vagina. My vagina just farted. What is going on? Especially if it is kind of a quiet room and it's really loud. Well, rest assured you are not alone. This is a very common thing that happens to people. So let's kind of dive in a little bit to why this might be happening. And when you aren't creating enough stability for your pelvic organs, when you go to move into that position, then you get a lot of shifting and moving around, and that can create pressure and then gaps within the vagina, which can then trap and release air. All right, so that can be one of the causes. You might have a little bit of prolapse and not know it, which could then take up space, especially if you kind of get that air bubble feeling escaping out of your vagina during other times during the day. You might have a little bit of prolapse, or you might just have pelvic floor tightness, okay? So that can be something as well. So if your pelvic floor is tight, when you go to push up like that, you get a nice, more of a stretch or an opening to the pelvic floor, and then that can allow air to escape. So what I want you to do is try to maybe change your breathing a little bit. All right, so what can happen, I'll see people, especially if they're moving through into the down dog, is they will maybe hold their breath a little bit, because that can be a hard movement right at the end of that push-up phase going into that down dog. And so what I want you to do is think about starting that exhale with a little bit of intention. And if you know that you don't have pelvic floor tightness, engaging the pelvic floor just a little bit. So as you come up, I want you to think, inhale, feel that expansion of the inhale down to the pelvic floor. Exhale, engage your pelvic floor a little bit with those lower abdominals, and that'll give you a little bit of stability through those organs in through your pelvic floor. Now, if you know you have pelvic floor tightness, I want you to do the exact opposite for me. Okay, so when you go down into your down dog, I want you to give me a big inhale, exhale, and then now big inhale, so that you are moving into a nice inhale as you go into that down dog. And so that's going to help open your pelvic floor, which is going to have the opposite effect if you have pelvic floor tightness. So what I want you to do at home now is play around with both of those breathing patterns and see if it doesn't help you with stabilizing inside your pelvic floor with either tightness or weakness, and kind of holding all those organs in place so you're not getting a bunch of shifting around. And then the other thing that you'll want to look at, if the breathing didn't fix it, is a little bit more abdominal strength and stability, and a little bit more pelvic floor strength and stability. So I will link a couple of those videos in my story, so you can just swipe up real easy. So how to do a Kegel, that way you can figure out if maybe the front of your pelvic floor isn't firing quite like you want it to, and then how to do an abdominal brace, so that we can get a little bit more strength and stability through this area to help with your vaginal farting during pushing up into that down dog. But just know that is very, very common, and with just a little bit of playing around with breathing, usually that'll kind of fix it. If not, then you might need just a little bit of strengthening of the core and pelvic floor area.